We are continuing to keep an eye on Iselle as she made landfall earlier this morning. We're now into the afternoon hours and we're still keeping an eye on her. As you can see right behind me, we still have watches and warnings for the entire island. We have flash flooding across the area, and with me now is Jeff Piotrowski. He is out about in the storm, if I'm understanding correctly. Jeff, what is it that you're seeing out there?
This is extreme flash flooding from 12 to 14 inches of rain on the south side of Hilo through Catapayan, P-A-N-A-L-A. Extreme flash flooding, just a wall of water is coming down. The creeks and tributaries of all the roads are washed out and covered up here on the south side of Hilo. It's really crazy. Look at this coming off these mountains out here. Just absolutely, this is about every quarter mile. It's coming down the mountains. It's just like washing out everything. It's really extreme on the south side of Hilo.
Okay, apparently we have lost Jeff. As you can see, it is a very fluid situation, no pun intended with that. But we do have a lot of rain coming into the area, continuing to come into the Big Island. The storm itself has pretty much not moved, or if so, moved very, very little over the last few hours since it has made landfall. Let's get right to the maps then and go ahead and take a look at what it is that Jeff was describing. That flooding was just phenomenal. You can just see how the waters are rushing off the mountainside and into the streets. Here's Iselle's current condition. Not a very strong storm, pretty much falling apart. Not even really a Category 1 storm anymore. Winds are still at about 50 miles per hour. But as you can see off to the side there, our attention is also being drawn to Julio, who's off in the distance and threatening to make landfall, or at least close to landfall, again this weekend. Taking a closer look at Julio over the next few hours, we do expect him to come right behind Iselle. You see Iselle there, her path, she becomes a remnant low, moving off to the west, and then luckily for the rest of Hawaii, not being much of an issue after that. But again, Hurricane Julio, still a Category 2 storm, still churning in the waters, and is expected to move off to the north. The biggest problem with the two storms is that we've had Iselle off to the south, Julio off to the north, and Hawaii right smack dab in the middle of the two. We put this fan into motion. You can see he remains a pretty good Category 2 storm. We saw that eye was still pretty defined, and when you have an eye wall like that, that tells you about the strength of the storm in and of itself. Now, as you can see, it's beginning to track off to the north, which is actually a good thing, but we could still see the swells from the waves coming up onshore for the folks there who have already had flooding. So that's going to be something we're going to have to keep an eye on again over the next few days. And as far as the storm itself goes, it is a rather large storm. So once we get all of those winds and rain in the picture, we could have a serious situation.